back in, guys. Hope everyone had a good Monday. It was a little bit of a tough beat Monday for us. Had a total there, as you guys know, if you tuned in yesterday, Bulls and Hornets. It went under in regulation. There was overtime, so we could not hold on there for the under. Just one of those tough ones. Bulls let the Hornets back in late. And we had a nice little NBA slate to get things back on track today. Really quick, guys, if you could, like, comment, subscribe below. We had new national champs. Michigan gets it done last night. John Harbaugh, one of the Harbaugh brothers, gets it done. We'll see if Baltimore can close out and they can pull it off, the sweep between college and NFL.
Yeah, how cool would that be? Seen a lot of the pictures with the parents. Imagine having two kids, one winning the national championship and then the one winning the Super Bowl. And it's a distinct possibility. As Ben talked about yesterday, we had under the Bull Hornet game, and just the way things are going, they took overtime. It took overtime to get there, but obviously that's another L. We're moving on from that. Let's go right into some NBA today, small cards, so we'll also talk about some football. Before we get to the NBA, let's talk about another bad break for the Grizzlies and Ja Morant.
Yeah, brutal.
Shoulder surgery now. He'll be gone. I actually put it in my story. So now with injuries and suspensions, one of the most talented players in the NBA will have played a total of 70 games in the last two seasons. So less than half of the amount of games he'll be out for the rest of this year. And we will see the Memphis Grizzlies go back to being a lottery team without Ja.
Yeah, that was one thing I was kind of hopeful maybe the suspension would help out with, because he had some injury issues even prior to the suspensions last year. He's dealing with the hand thing and the hip issue, and was hoping maybe we could see that help. And obviously, maybe the time off didn't with the shoulder issue already. Hopefully, Memphis gets things back on track where they last in scoring before he went out, 1-12 at home before he went out. So it was bad struggles. Hey, maybe that lottery pick turns into something for them if it pans out that direction.
Yeah. We'll injuries, guys, plays a big part. Depth. You take one key guy out, and we had Ja, meaning like 4 points to the Grizzlies. So we'll take their rating right back down as if you're a Massa Edge member. You can see it. So we've already got them rated in there today. And even with that said, there's a game we'll talk about in a little bit. The Grizzlies. The only reason I'm not betting the Grizzlies today is because some other injuries, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, we got also Draymond Green coming back from suspension soon. We'll see how that fares. We'll see how long he's in the good graces of the NBA. We'll see how much of a leash he has and what he gets away with. But going to be interested to see if that Warriors dynamic changes here any at all coming up. But no Warriors tonight.
Let's talk about that too real quick. There's been some talk now in the last couple of days now that he's coming back, how Steve Kerr had a meeting with him, and he talked about how he wants them to end it the right way. So read in between those lines, and you can see the end it, how they're going to go out. And then they're going out. We're seeing this with, I don't know if we touched upon it, the last game that Steph had. I mean, we talk about duds. It is now the second time after hitting, I don't know how many games he hit it 3 in a row. Well, now in the last 10 games, he's gone 0 for in 3-pointers. So even the great Steph Curry, that shot starting to miss. But again, getting back to the point we've been talking about, you're seeing the demise of the Warriors, and I'm sure even Steve Kerr knows it. If he didn't even understand his own words, he wants Dre to come back and end it the right way. End it being the key words here. Golden State, they're going to have they got more issues. Chris Paul, 4 to 6 weeks, also out with the hand. And now get Dre to get back into this. Curry, Clay, showing the test of time. Remember, Father Time undefeated in his reign. So a Warriors team on its way down.
Go ahead and start diving into this NBA slate. We'll touch on a little bit of NFL football in the back end of this, guys. Obviously, later breakdowns, bigger, deeper breakdowns later on in the week. But I'll just kind of talk about what we have looking already. This first game on the card, Kings at Detroit. You have the Sacramento team absolutely embarrassed at home by the Pelicans the other night, 133-100. This Pistons team, who has been playing better, they're keeping games tight. They nearly covered against Denver. I mean, they still lost by 17, but nearly covered the big number there. They are 5-2 against the spread their last 7, playing a bit better ball. Kings, they've won and covered last 3 trips. This number opened up a bit shorter. It's only gone one way, all the money on Sack, and for good reason. Good road team, Detroit. Obviously not doing what they've done this season. Can they hang within 10.5? Lean here is ever so slightly to the Pistons, not looking to go against this here. You do have the Kings on the front end of a back-to-back. Maybe they backdoor, start resting guys early in the second half if they have a lead at some point.
Yeah, that's the only way you could look at it, because to me it looks like this should be a blowout. You should have a real hungry, pissed-off Sacramento team. They lost that game to the Pelicans without Zion in the lineup also. So Sac should come in hungry for a win. Pistons, yeah, they're covering games, but as Ben said, you're a 15.5-point dog at Denver. That's so. What are you covering? They'll also be without their top scorer, Cade Cunningham. He left the last game, so take your top scorer off of a team that is 1-32. I mean, it almost sounds like my fucking record right now. But 1-32, can't want the Pistons. As Ben said, maybe this is a game where at halftime you got Pistons up double digits, and they back off a little bit. Sacramento backs off a little bit because they're on the front end going to Charlotte tomorrow. But no part of the Pistons right now.
And we have T-Wolves going on to Orlando, coming off a loss at Dallas. Edwards had a solid night there. They're now 1-3 their last 4. You have this Magic team coming off a nice win against Atlanta. They've been playing pretty decent ball lately, just 5-5 straight up, but 8-2 against the spread. And they've been dynamite at home, 13-3, 12-4 against the spread. You have this Minnesota team, little bit of regression coming here this last week or so, and they got a game going against the Celtics tomorrow, so maybe a little bit of a look ahead there as well. You have this Magic team, talked about already what they've been doing at home. Magic 7-2, 6-3 against the spread last 9 meetings. Also some success in the matchup. All signs here pointing towards Orlando, John.
Yeah, you've got me right now, top team in the West. Boston, top team in the East. They play tomorrow. Earlier in the year, if you guys remember, we had Timberwolves at home against the Celtics, knocked them off in overtime. So it could be a little bit of a look ahead. Should it be? They're coming off a loss, so I hate to think a team has the ability to look ahead coming off a loss, but they have not matched up well with Orlando. Magic 7-2 straight up, 6-3 against the spread, and in the last 9 meetings. Minnesota just 3-4 straight up, 1-6 against the spread. Their last 7 games overall. Now, if you look at the list, Magic are missing a ton of bodies, including a second leading scorer, Franz Wagner. They're going to all be out again today, but they've just won their last 2 games, winning in overtime at home against the Hawks, had them there, beating the Nuggets the last game of a road. Always a tough game, last game of a road trip. And the game before that, they fight Sacramento in that overtime battle, just losing in that one. We actually had Sac in that one get there only in overtime. So even without all the bodies, still playing good ball. Banchero taking his game up a notch. This is my one bet today. I got the home team +5. We're on the Magic.
Well, we get back on track with the winner on that one. This next matchup, Portland at the Knicks. Blazers coming off a nice win in Brooklyn on Sunday, so they've been in New York for a couple of days. Simons had a solid night. Grant added some nice stuff. They shot 53% from 3. Still going to be no Ayton. And then you have this Knicks team who OG Anunoby comes aboard, and they start figuring some things out a little bit. Looks like with Barrett out also in the mix, and you have OG Anunoby taking a true 3-and-D role, you're getting these 2 guys, Randall and Brunson, the forefront of the offense. They're getting a lot more opportunities, and they combined for 72 in that last game. Randall in this 4-game stretch had one really bad shooting performance, 1 for 11, but the other 3 games all scored more than 35 points. So he's starting to get a bit more rhythm. He's starting to get a bit more opportunities in the mix now. This Knicks team turning things around a little bit. I do not want to go against that team finding striding in motion. It's a big number to lay here. Portland, they get the 1 in overtime in Brooklyn, young team, maybe having their fun here in New York last couple of days after the OT win. Will be a lean here to the Knicks ever so slightly.
Yeah, and have to want to lean to the Knicks. I'm not laying this big double-digit number up to a dozen now. Another big, he answered the problem. Remember the beginning part of the year, Knicks were at the top of the NBA in points allowed. They went into that the in-season tournament playoff game against Milwaukee. Milwaukee lit them up, and they just were giving up points unbelievably. Last 4 games now with the Nunnaby since the trade, Knicks giving up just 100.8 points per game. So they're back to that defensive mindset, playing good basketball. Portland, as Ben said, coming off a win against the Nets on Sunday. So it's a layover in New York. They've already been on the road for a while. They started this road trip with 2 in Dallas. So now it's 2 in New York. You got to remember Portland also missing a lot of bodies. Ayton, he'll remain out. No. So it's Knicks or nobody, but I'm not laying a dozen here.
That's Grizzlies going on to Dallas. We already touched on earlier. Morant's going to be out for the season. Jackson, he's questionable. Aldama, he's doubtful. So you got a banged up Memphis team going on into Dallas. They did get a nice win at Phoenix the other night. And it's really been a couple of the other guys, Bane and Smart. They've been playing terrific the last couple of games. We'll see if that continues, especially for Smart. I mean, you prop guys with no Morant. We'll see how much Smart continues to take off like this. Then you have this Dallas team coming off a nice win against Minnesota. Luka and Kyrie, they combined for 69. This is a Mavs team that's been a little bit streaky this season. They've had their woes in that little stretch without Kyrie when Luka was having a bit of issues. But they've won both meetings at Memphis this season by combined 22 points. One of those was without Luka. Got to be a look here to Dallas at home. Now, Morant, big adjustment already. We saw this when he first came back. They've had a big adjustment. Wasn't enough, apparently. Are they going to over-adjust with him out? Everyone's out here for Memphis. No Jackson, no Aldama, no Morant. Would have to be a look at Dallas.
If everybody is out. If I had this game circled before the Jackson and Aldama info came out, this would have been just too many points. Like the way Smart's playing, really picked it up last 2 games, 54 points in the last 2 games. And again, as I always say, guys, look at that plus-minus column. You're going to find Smart always, and if he's not in the plus, because obviously if a team gets blown out, you can still be a minus, but always has the best or one of the best plus-minuses in the game. Bane will have to get back to picking up the scoring. Jackson is the other option. That's why he's huge to have in this one. So you need the bodies. But for me, it would have been Memphis or nobody. These teams have met 3 times. Mavericks winning twice in Memphis. Grizzlies winning the only game in Dallas. I had this one circled at +8. But now with Jackson, Aldama questionable. We'll wait to see on their availability. Memphis or nobody for me. Dallas is still Dallas at home. Don't like to cover. Don't like to cover at home. A little better this year, but they were the worst team in the NBA against the spread at home last year.
And this last game on the short NBA card, Raptors going on to the Lakers. They're coming off a nice win at Golden State the other night. Barrett season high, 37 points. And just like I said, how Knicks offense looks a bit better, less cluttered. You're getting those more opportunities for Randall and Brunson. We might be finding more opportunities here for Barrett where he can take a bit better, stronger of a role. We'll have to compete less with other guys for shots. Going to be interesting to see how that develops. Toronto, since the trade, 3-1 straight up against the spread. We saw, what was that, a year and a half ago, the Halliburton and Sabonis trade worked out really well for both teams. I'm not going to get ahead of myself 4 games after a trade, but so far it looks like the right pieces, the right fits. You do have this Lakers team coming off a nice win against the Clippers. They are only 1-4 their last 5, looking to get back on track. Raptors used to really, really own this meeting. Lakers had some success last year, won in LA, but Raptors covered the prior 7. This to me is Toronto or nothing. Lakers, yes, to get the nice win of the Clippers, to have a letdown from that. And prior to that, they just weren't winning, not really covering games, not covering at home this year. They do win, but not covering. It'll be Raptors or nothing for me in this one.
Yeah, Raptors playing good ball. Lakers, they were dead. I mean, they were dead in the water. Stepped up with an unbelievable game against the Clippers. Yep. Playing their worst ball of the year since the in-season tournament. And not only did LeBron come up with a big game offensively, he locked Kawhi down. Whenever he was guarding Kawhi, he absolutely locked him down, did not let Kawhi score off him. So getting it done on both ends. The problem is LeBron is 39. How long can he do this game after game? Can he step it up every once in a while and have that game? We knew he'd respond. The prior game had one of his worst shooting games, so he comes back, steps it up. Does he get back up for the Toronto team? Podol, the center for Toronto, he's going to be out. Let's see if Lakers are as motivated as they were against the Clippers. I think the number is the right number here, 5. Toronto playing better. Just keep in mind, we're waiting for Siakam to go also. He's the next guy that's going to go from them. So you could see RJ Barrett last game leading in scoring. They're going to be starting to transition, I see, away from Siakam to Barnes and Barrett, who should be the future of the team.
That's the short NBA card today, guys. There are some questionables and some injuries issues, as always. If you guys want those updates and what we do with those information when we get it, make sure you guys sign up on the app or the website. Let's talk a little NFL football coming up this weekend. We don't necessarily have to dive into any game specifically, John. We can kind of talk about just the playoff bracket in general, what we might see happening, AFC picture, NFC picture. Yeah, you guys know I've been telling Baltimore all season long, and I still will be. But, John, AFC contenders, anyone else you see making a run and who can have a legitimate shot at knocking out Baltimore when the opportunity comes?
Bills. Bills' hottest team right now. Bills, Buffalo, Baltimore. I don't think there's any doubt that that's what we're going to see in the finals. Kansas City's been struggling. All the other years, you always had Buffalo going out to KC. This year, looks like KC's got to go through Buffalo. I see Buffalo, Baltimore in there. Injuries will always play a big part, and they'll play a big part here. Got to have health. Nobody's going to know that better than the Philadelphia Eagles playing a meaningless game against the Giants and come out of there. 2 wide receivers down. Swift didn't play because of an illness, and Hurts dislocates a finger. Not good going into Tampa Bay, who's playing as good as you could be playing, as good as they've played all year. So a little look, Tampa Bay. I wouldn't be shocked to see that upset. I mean, they'll be at Tampa Bay also. So the NFC, while it looks like the 49ers are the best team, Dallas got what we didn't think they were going to be able to get, and that was home field advantage. So with that 2 seed, they'll be home right up until the time they go to San Fran. Problem is, they don't win in San Fran. They were already torched there earlier this year, and my feeling is that'll probably happen again.
Yeah, it's for AFC. I mean, Kansas City, I know it's a bit of a down year, but their defense is good enough to win them any game. I don't think they have not allowed more than 21 points in any game this season. So, Baltimore, if they can keep it a close game within 3 touchdowns, there's a chance. But, man, that offense just has to step up. They have to find something better. Andy Reid puts a bit of pressure on him. I know the receiver's getting a lot of the attention, dropping everything, but you lose Bieniemy. There was rumors, who was calling the plays. Was it Reid? Was it Bieniemy? And Andy Reid's got to figure that side of the ball a little bit more as well.
You got to have receivers hold the ball. They can look. Your players can make your coaches look like geniuses or an idiot. Yep. So you got to execute. You can call the plays. You can have the best play designed, everything. You still have to execute that play. And that means a good throw, the lineman holding off the defense, and that means a receiver making a catch. And KC just not been able to do that this year. Look, there's no question they're down. I've got them down big from last year, about 4 points. And that, doesn't sound like a lot.
It's a lot.
Just that 4 points, then you can go from being, let's call it 2 over a team to being a 2-point dog. So big difference, KC, what I have this year to this time last year. And again, give me the hot teams. Give me the teams on the rise, not the teams on the decline coming into playoffs. We're talking about Philly, a declining team. And then you got a team like Green Bay. Now, Dallas has been money at home. Haven't lost. Only 2 games that they did not cover, winning all of their home games. Green Bay's a red-hot team and getting better each week and got healthy. Maybe biggest thing there is Jones, the running back, missing so much of the season, running with fresh legs. Defensively, getting linebacker Campbell back, Alexander back, getting a lot of defensive guys back at the right time. If they could get Watson, the wide receiver, who's probably the best out of that core, if they could get him back for this week, now you got a little more offensive power. Love, he got there. This kid got there. Looked a little rough. He got there a lot sooner than anybody thought. He's making the throws. They talked about it, if you guys watch the game, how he reminds, I think it was Tony Romo talked about it, taking a lot from Rodgers and Favre, that gunslinger mentality, making throws off the back foot, type of throws that the coach goes, no. Oh, yeah. And it looks like he's got some of that quality. So, yeah, Packers a hot team. Philly limping in. Tampa Bay a hot team. So those big dogs, be careful, favorite bettors.
Yeah, interesting to see. For Dallas over the last 4 games, they go 2-2 on that stretch. Obviously, a couple of losses to Buffalo and Miami. They get the 1-point win over Detroit. They were last in the NFL rushing down the stretch of the season. But you have Green Bay, who's been bottom 5, bottom 7 or so about all season long as far as rushing yards allowed. Is that going to be able to get the rushing game going here for the Cowboys? And that's ultimately their problem once they get into playing the better teams like San Francisco and Philly on the road. They can't get the run game established as much. So going to be interested in how well Green Bay's defense adjusts to that. But to them, too, they made those adjustments down the stretch of the season. I mean, they made, Tommy DeVito and Baker Mayfield your players of the week. So we'll see what their defense can step up here.
Yeah. Again, they got defensive guys, backpackers. They looked better. Holding the Bears offensively challenged, I should say, holding them down, not a great thing. It's going to be a little tougher in Dallas, but they're just saying, again, they're playing better ball. Look, my ratings still have that number a little higher, but not interested in laying more than a touchdown with Dallas in that game. The one game that I've got a big lead to, and that's the other. Look, there's 2 home dogs. Excuse me, guys. 2 home dogs this week, and I got to lean to both home dogs in this one. Both could take a field goal in them. Houston gets Cleveland in a rematch from a couple of weeks ago. This time, they'll have Rookie of the Year Stroud as their quarterback, as opposed to playing in Cleveland and playing with a backup quarterback. Things will be a little different. Houston played there last week without a couple of wide receivers. Remember, Dell already out. You have Woods and Brown. They didn't play the last game, leaving it all up to Nico Collins, knowing that the Colts allowed him a 75-yard touchdown pass on the first play. Who else was he going to throw the ball to? So, Houston in that spot. Look, Cleveland's been great. The Flacco story, unbelievable. Does it continue into the playoffs? Big, obviously. You've got a past MVP winner, Super Bowl MVP winner against a rookie. But home team +3. I'm on the lean there. It would have to be the same thing. Tampa Bay, a banged up Philly, limping to the finish line, 1-5 the last 6 weeks. Let's see what's up with A.J. Brown. If there's no A.J. Brown, almost a no-brainer to take the points.
Yeah, it's also one of those things, too, though, with Philly where it's, the perception of value has not been lower on them all season long. So is it bottomed out as far as decreasing them to getting them what they really are? Obviously, this game is played before this stretch, 5-6 weeks ago. We're looking at a much bigger spread on this game. So, so it's got to see what perception of value there, what is going on. As far as some of these other matchups, John, you're talking about hottest team, looking for the hottest team. I know we touched on it yesterday. It's such a bad spot for the Rams just as far as the road games have been going on in a row here. You have Detroit been staying at home, but they've been one of the hotter teams. And even some of their losses, they've been very impressive losses. That loss at Baltimore in overtime, very impressive loss in itself. And I know the second time they played San Fran, it was, both teams backups everywhere. But back earlier this season, the game they played San Fran, they gave San Francisco one of their harder, closer wins of the season. So what do you think about that game as far as hotter team going in, just a really tough spot?
Well, the Rams, again, third week in a row on the road. Mm-hmm. But it was a rest day. All your stars didn't play. So not as taxing on them. The guys getting healthy a little bit. Look, this is a great matchup and a great storyline. Stafford, Goff traded for each other a few years back and now meeting in the Lions' first time back to the playoffs. So just great storyline there. This Rams offense is an offense to deal with. Their last road game, forget about San Francisco. Again, most of the starters were out. But they went into Jersey at MetLife Stadium to play the Giants. Only put 26 up. Left so much on the table there. That 3 turnovers that day. And Stafford had come into that game, I believe it was 10 TDs, no interception. His previous 4 games, 14-1 over his previous 5. So he had a bad day that day. This is different. This is in the Dome. He knows how to play in the Dome. He played quarterback there. Man, I'm looking for an offensive explosion. And can the Lions match that? Look, this game is right where I think it should be. Still 3 weeks in a row on the road. Detroit home last week, so they didn't have to travel. And the week before, playing on a Saturday. All these extra days and non-travel, believe me, it's an edge.
Yep, it all adds up at the end of the day. Detroit 27th in passing yards allowed this season. They give up a lot of points to some pretty solid offenses. We saw some pretty good teams throw all over them. Baltimore was able to do it. Hell, even Seattle was able to throw all over them. So going to be interesting if LA and Stafford can put that together. John, if you
Nick Mullins has I think he put close to 800 yards on them in his last 2 games. Mm-hmm. We could expect a big one from Stafford.
Yeah, I mean, even Jordan Love got that. That's pretty much when Jordan Love got going a little bit. Also, Thanksgiving, that for this final stretch down the season, he was kind of running and gunning from there.
Absolutely. So yeah, a couple of my lean right now, 2 dogs in the NFL for the weekend. And one bet I did give you guys today, coming right back to the Magic, waited on Sunday, right up until game time. They pushed the Hawks up to a 2.5-point favorite. We took the Magic in that one, blew the lead late just to go into overtime, had it made it a little sweaty, but Magic come out on top. I expect more of the same. They're playing real. Look, they've showed me they can win without Franz Wagner the last couple of games.
Nope.
They're a deep enough team. They got Fultz back the other day. Maybe they'll get a little more out of him today. They've been great at home. Mini on a slide. Have the first-place Celtics, 2 first-place teams from each conference going at it tomorrow. Everything aligns for the Magic. We get the Magic +5.
Well, that's the bet. And like we said earlier, guys, if you guys want anything that gets added on later tonight, make sure you sign up on the app or the website. Everything can change with line movement and injuries and who knows what else, dog attacks, car accidents. So if any of that comes up, we'll make sure to notify our members, update our website, and get you guys the best information possible. Don, if you have anything else, otherwise, let's get back on track with this NBA slate.
We're back. Got a little 5-game card today. Back to a 10-game card tomorrow. We're already waiting for DraftKings to open that lineup for tomorrow. If they do, stay by your phone, Master Edge members. You'll get a notification. We have our notifications fixed. A little bit of a rough, always something. Just always seems to be something. A little glitch yesterday, but we're back at it today.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe below. Let's make some money.
Let's make some money.